very good morning to all our viewers. I'm Smriti Rastogi with Breakfast News. In the next 30 minutes, we will get you all the latest news from national and international front. But before we begin the bulletin, a quick look at the top headlines. Arun Jaitley on a 5-day US visit strongly takes up H-1B visa issue with US Commerce Secretary. Donald Trump had last week ordered review of country's visa policy. India hits back at China over giving Chinese names to the parts of Arunachal Pradesh, says renaming does not make illegal territorial claims legal. Two factions of AIADMK wrangling over a merger. Paneerselvam camp seeks proof of expulsion of Sasikala and Dinakaran. Palaniswamy camp forms panel for talks. Last day of campaigning for the MCD polls in Delhi. Delhi High Court to hear plea on use of VVPAT-equipped EVMs in the city's civic polls. And shooting in central France days ahead of the presidential polls. One policeman dead, 2 others injured. Lone gunman killed by the security forces. IS claims the responsibility. Highlighting the important role played by the highly skilled Indian professionals in America, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has strongly raised the H-1B visa issue with the US Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. During the first cabinet-level interaction between the two countries under the Trump administration, Ross is believed to have said that US has started the process of reviewing H-1B visa issues and no decision has been taken yet. Ross is understood to have said that whatever the outcome of the review process, the Trump administration's objective is to have a merit-based immigration policy that gives preference to highly skilled professionals. The executive order signed by the Donald Trump early this week calls for a review of H-1B visas by the Department of State, Labor, Homeland Security and Justice. Arun Jaitley, leading an Indian delegation, arrived in Washington, D.C. on Thursday morning to attend the annual spring meeting of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. And expressing displeasure over China renaming 6 places in Arunachal Pradesh, the MEA has responded that inventing names of states of a neighbor will not make illegal occupation legal. MEA spokesperson Gopal Bagle also asserted that Arunachal Pradesh is an integral part of India. On Wednesday, China announced that it has standardized official names for 6 places in Arunachal, terming the provocative move as a legitimate action. China's move comes days after Beijing lodged strong protest with India over the Dalai Lama's visit to the state.
If you rename or invent names for the towns of your neighbor, it doesn't make illegally held territory legal. So Arunachal Pradesh has always been an integral part of India, and it will continue to be so.
On to some more developments. The political drama in Tamil Nadu continues with AIADMK's OPS camp insisting on a precondition that the merger between the two factions of the party is only possible when an affidavit stating the removal of Sasikala and his nephew Dinakaran from the party is submitted to the Election Commission. The OPS faction has also demanded a CBI probe into the circumstances leading to Jayalalitha's death. Meanwhile, the EPS faction has responded, saying that the OPS camp should first take its complaint back regarding the party's 2-leaf symbol issue. In the related developments, the Delhi police yesterday summoned Dinakaran for bribing the Election Commission official.
There is more trouble for the beleaguered Deputy General Secretary of AIADMK, TTV Dinakaran. Delhi police has served a notice to him in a case of alleged bribery to the Election Commission officials and has summoned him to appear before the crime branch on Saturday. The midnight summon to Dinakaran came just hours after he claimed to step aside to pave the way for a merger of the rival AIADMK factions, saying the rebellion against him was out of fear. However, his stepping aside doesn't seem to be enough for the O Paneerselvam faction, which is demanding resignations of not just Dinakaran but also jail Party General Secretary Sasikala.
We want him to be out with the resignation letters stating that I am not a assistant general secretary, and we want Sasikala also to get removed from the party and also from the membership. Okay, so that is our first demand, but that has not happened. They said they're just going away, but we wanted them to totally get removed from the party. And the second demand is probe needs to be organized for Amma's mysterious death. So
Meanwhile, senior AIDMK leader M. Thambidurai and State Minister D. Jayakumar met the governor, C. Vidyasagar Rao, separately amid reports that the Pannirselvam camp may pitch his name for Tamil Nadu Chief Minister after the merger. However, Thambidurai insisted that the meeting was just a courtesy call.
கவர்னரை ஒரு மரியாதை நிமித்தமாக சந்தித்தேன் வழியே வேறொன்றும் கிடையாது. கவர்னர் எனக்கு ஒரு நண்பர். நான் 98-99 முதலே மத்திய அமைச்சராக இருக்கும் பொழுது அவர் பாராளுமன்ற உறுப்பினராக இருந்தார்.
The AIADMK faction, led by former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister O. Pannirselvam, also held a meeting to chalk out a strategy for talks with the other group led by Chief Minister E.K. Palanisamy. The OPS faction has rubbished reports of Pannirselvam demanding the CM's post, saying that they are sticking to their original demands, only after which a merger can take place.
இந்த இரண்டு கோரிக்கை நிறைவேற்ற வேண்டும் என்று நாங்கள் கேட்கிறோம். இதற்கு இடையில் இதை வைத்துக்கொண்டு இதை எப்படியாவது இவர்களிடத்திலிருந்து நாம் வெளியேற வேண்டும் என்பதற்காக இன்று இருக்கின்ற முதலமைச்சர்.
The opposition DMK meanwhile has slammed the latest rumblings within the AIDMK, accusing the leaders of ignoring governance and indulging in selfish politics.
They are not doing anything to alleviate the problems faced by the people of Tamil Nadu. Nobody is bothered about them. They are only bothered about settling their internal squabbles and ensure how to safeguard, their money which they have looted from the state of Tamil Nadu. We cannot deny the fact that there is this invisible hand of the central government which is playing out in the form of these mergers, these splits and everything.
Reports claim disagreement between the Pannirselvam and Palanisamy camps over the allocation of portfolios in case of a merger. As per reports, both camps want their respective leaders to be the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, with the Palanisamy camp arguing that it would not be prudent for the state to have its fourth CM in 6 months. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And moving on to some more news, Bihar Chief Minister and JDU Chief Nitish Kumar met Congress President Sonia Gandhi at her New Delhi residence on Thursday to discuss the current political situation in the country. In the meeting, Nitish is learned to have advocated a united opposition to take on the ruling BJP ahead of the general elections. He reportedly pushed for forging a grand alliance of the opposition parties at the national level on the lines of the Mahagathbandhan in Bihar. The JDU also called for a joint opposition candidate for the election to the president's post and urged Sonia Gandhi to take a lead in the matter. The Congress is a partner in the Bihar government with Nitish's JDU and Lalu Prasad's RJD. Calling it a courtesy visit, party spokesperson K.C. Tyagi, however, denied that there was a talk about the grand alliance in the meeting.
श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी हमारे बिहार के गठबंधन की सबसे सीनियर लीडर हैं। नीतीश कुमार जी शहर में थे और शिष्टाचारवत उन्होंने श्रीमती गांधी से बातचीत की। अभी महागठबंधन जैसी या प्रेसिडेंट के चुनाव जैसी किसी विषय पर कोई चर्चा श्रीमती गांधी के साथ नहीं हुई।
And ahead of the next hearing of the Vijay Mallya extradition case on 17th of May, India said that it was in touch with the UK government. MEA spokesperson Gopal Barclay said that the Indian High Commission in the UK is following the case with the British government, and also added that an internal process is on in the UK in response to India's extradition request. The 61-year-old liquor baron, wanted in India for defaulting on bank loans, was arrested after he appeared at a central London police station on Monday morning but was released on conditional bail soon after. The UK's Crown Prosecution Service will argue the case on behalf of the Indian authorities.
Our High Commission in London has been following up the matter with the United Kingdom authorities. And this is now, as far as I know, the next date of hearing has been set for 17th of May. So the two governments will remain in touch in this regard. What I must point out that what is going on right now in the United Kingdom is their internal process in response to the extradition request. made by the Indian government. So we'll remain in touch in that regard.
Meanwhile, the Delhi High Court will today hear a plea on the electronic voting machines. The Aam Aadmi Party on Tuesday had approached the Delhi High Court for using EVMs attached with voter-verified paper audit trail machines in the city's civic polls scheduled for 23rd April. To which the Delhi High Court had responded, saying that it cannot issue directions in this regard unless it has information about the availability of the VVPATs with the Election Commission. The High Court bench had also issued a notice to the Election Commission of India and the Delhi State Election Commission. They have been asked to file their response on the Aam Aadmi Party's plea for the use of VVPATs-enabled Generation 2 or Generation 3 EVMs for the MCD polls. Meanwhile, as the curtains fall for the MCD polls campaigning, leaders of various political parties, including the Aam Aadmi Party, BJP and the Congress, have stepped up their efforts to woo voters through rallies, audio-video messages and door-to-door canvassing. The national capital will vote for 272 wards of 3 municipal corporations on 23rd of April. Counting of votes and announcement of results will take place on 26th April. EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini will arrive in Delhi today. During her 2-day visit, she is likely to push for resumption of talks for the Indo-EU Free Trade Agreement. Mogherini will meet External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj to discuss preparations for the annual India-EU Summit scheduled to be held in Delhi later this year. She is also expected to hold delegation-level talks with Minister of State for External Affairs MJ Akbar, covering bilateral, regional and global issues. She is also slated to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi. However, the main focus of her visit is to push for early resumption of talks on the Free Trade Pact between the two sides. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been featured in the Times magazine's 100 Most Influential People's list. Along with Prime Minister, who is a regular on the Time list, Paytm founder Vijay Shekhar Sharma too has made the cut. Sharma, riding high on the digital economy wave in India, has been featured in the Times list under the Titans category. US President Donald Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin and British Prime Minister Theresa May have also been featured in the 100 Most Influential People list. Times 100 Most Influential People list features pioneers, artists, titans, leaders and icons from around the world honored for the power of their inventions, the scale of their ambitions, the genius of their solutions to problems that no one before them could solve. On to some more developments, the Central Board of Secondary Education has warned schools affiliated to it against the sale of books, uniforms and stationery. It reminded them that educational institutions are not commercial establishments. The board also issued an advisory following complaints from parents and stakeholders that schools were selling books, uniforms within the school premises or from selected vendors. The CBSE also told schools to stick to books published by the National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCERT. In an advisory sent to the schools, the CBSE said, and I quote, "The board has taken a serious view of the complaints and the schools are directed to desist from the unhealthy practice of coercing parents to buy textbooks, notebooks, stationery, uniforms, shoes, school bags, etc. from within the premise or from selected vendors only. CBSE norms mandate that schools are run as community service and not as business, and that commercialization does not take place in the school in any shape whatsoever," unquote. The issue was also recently raised in Parliament when Union HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar said that NCERT textbooks have been supplied to 2,000 private schools. With that, we'll slip into a very short break. More news and updates on the other side. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritanshu Rai and you're watching Law of the Land.
Ministry of Water Resources shall make all efforts to get the best available data, get the best people.
The dispute cannot be solved by negotiation. It has the authority to refer a dispute to the tribunal.
The major complaint of the tribunal going on an unending expedition has now been removed.
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television.
the splendid, grand and massive neo-Buddhist copper dome of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It gets its influence from stupa at Sanchi. The dome is more than twice the height of the rest of the building. The reinforced concrete shell of the outer dome began to be formed during the beginning of 1929. The last stone of the dome was laid on April 6, 1929.
Welcome back. Trouble remains unabated for Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh. The Enforcement Directorate yesterday questioned him for over 9 hours in connection with a money laundering case registered against him and others. According to the official sources, the investigating officer of the case recorded the Chief Minister's statement under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Singh is likely to be summoned again. The Chief Minister had last week sent a communication to the agency stating his reasons for not being able to appear before it all this while and had sought a new date from it, after which the new summons was issued for Thursday. The Enforcement Directorate had yesterday refused to give any assurance in the Delhi High Court that it will not arrest Singh when he appears before it. The ED had filed a case under the anti-money laundering law against Singh, his family members and others after taking cognizance of a complaint filed by the CBI in September 2015. On Thursday, 10 suspected terrorists were held in an operation that was carried out jointly by the police teams of 5 states, including the Delhi Police Special Cell and the Uttar Pradesh Anti-Terrorism Squad. According to the police, 4 suspected terrorists belonging to the ISIS Khorasan module were arrested and 6 others were detained for interrogation. The men were arrested from Mumbai, Ludhiana and Bijnor. The suspects are alleged to be part of an ISIS module that is looking for potential recruits in several states, including Bihar, UP and Maharashtra. According to the sources, the group was also planning several terrorist strikes in many states. Raids were also carried out in Bihar's Narkatiyaganj and Uttar Pradesh's Muzaffarnagar district. Besides UP, ATS and Delhi Police Special Cell, the Crime Investigation Department of Andhra Pradesh Police, Maharashtra ATS, Bihar Police and Punjab Police were also the part of the operation.
Self-guided, self-radicalized, अपने आप को खुद ही किन्हीं माध्यम से उन्होंने अपने आप को प्रेरित किया है और वो इस प्रकार से कोई ग्रुप बनाया है उन्होंने जिसके कारण जो मिलकर एक घटना करना चाहते थे, उसी को लेकर ये ऑपरेशन किया गया और इन लोगों की गिरफ्तारी हुई है। जैसे कि सर्वेलेंस में पाया कि ये लगातार आपस में विचार विमर्श कर रहे थे किसी एक घटना को कारित करने के लिए और उसकी तैयारी में ये लोग लगे थे।
The NGT on Thursday criticized Sri Ravi Shankar for his statement, blaming the centre and the Green Panel for damage to the Yamuna floodplains. Describing the statement as shocking, the tribunal claimed that the Art of Living founder has no sense of responsibility. The observations came after petitioner informed the tribunal about Ravi Shankar's statement where he blamed the government and the NGT for permitting his NGO to hold the World Cultural Festival on the floodplains of River Yamuna. The tribunal also directed Art of Living and other parties to file their replies and objections to the expert panel's report. Earlier, an expert committee told the NGT that 42.02 crore rupees will be required to restore Yamuna floodplains. Responding to the verdict of the NGT in a series of tweets, Sri Ravi Shankar has said that Art of Living has done no wrong.
हम लोगों ने कोर्ट के आगे ये सबमिट किया है कि जो फाइनेंशियल एस्पेक्ट्स हैं उस रिपोर्ट के और जो कंक्लूजन रिपोर्ट है हमें सिर्फ पिछले ही हफ्ते दिया गया है. सो वी हैव रिक्वेस्टेड फॉर अ लिटिल मोर टाइम फ्रॉम द कोर्ट टू फाइल आवर रिस्पॉन्स टू दैट.
एनजीटी ने जिस तरह की बयान आज की है, मुझे लगता है कि एनजीटी पूरी तरह से बायस्ड हो रही है और समझ में नहीं आ रहा ये पैनल किस तरह से काम कर रही है.
And here are some more updates from across the country nationwide. Today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will honour bureaucrats for effectively implementing key programs of the central government on Civil Services Day. The PM's Award for Excellence will be based primarily on excellence in implementation of 5 priority programs: Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, E-National Agriculture Market and Stand Up Startup India. The government has directed internet service providers to block distribution and transmission of child sexual abuse content by July 31st. The directive has been issued after the recommendation of an interministerial committee that was constituted to recommend solutions to address the issue of child sexual abuse material following a Supreme Court verdict. Senior journalist and columnist Nora Chopra passed away at the age of 64 on Thursday in New Delhi after prolonged illness. President Pranab Mukherjee condoled the demise of the veteran journalist. Congress President Sonia Gandhi, INB Minister Venkaiah Naidu, Randeep Surjewala also condoled her demise. Meanwhile, Press Club, Women Press Corps, Press Association and other media organizations have also condoled the sudden demise of the senior journalist. More than 14 lakh lawyers across the country are expected to observe a half-day strike to protest against Law Commission recommendations. It also includes a proposal to ban strikes by advocates. In Paris, a police officer was killed and 2 others wounded in shooting claimed by Islamic State. The gunman was later killed by the officers. President François Hollande says he was convinced that it was a terrorist attack. The attack comes just days ahead of France's presidential elections. 1 policeman shot dead and 2 others wounded in central Paris. A lone gunman opened fire at 9 p.m. local time at a police bus in Champs-Élysées. The gunman was killed as he tried to flee the scene. Islamic State said that one of its fighters had carried out the attack. Paris police say the attacker's identity is known and has been verified.
Un individu armé d'un fusil d'assaut a tiré sur des policiers qui étaient en faction au niveau du magasin Marks & Spencer sur les Champs-Élysées, entraînant donc la mort d'un policier, comme cela vient de vous être dit, et en blessant 2 autres.
After the incident, whole of the Champs-Élysées was evacuated. French President François Hollande says that he was convinced the attack was a terrorist-related. Hollande would hold a meeting of his security cabinet this morning. He said security forces had the full support of the nation and a national tribute would be paid to the fallen policemen.
À 21h précisément, sur les Champs-Élysées, une attaque est intervenue visant des policiers et le car qui les abritait. Un policier a été tué. 2 autres ont été blessés.
The attack happened even as 11 candidates standing in Sunday's elections were engaged in a final joint TV appearance to make their pitches. Several of them have ended their campaigns early as a mark of respect. At the White House, US President Donald Trump said people had to be strong and vigilant. France has been in a state of emergency since 2015 Paris attacks, which left 130 people dead. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. The Pakistani Supreme Court has ordered an investigation against Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in connection with the Panama Papers case. The verdict delivered by a 5-judge bench was split 3-2, with only 2 judges submitting dissenting notes against Sharif, while 3 others favoured a GIT probe. The court also ordered Sharif and his 2 sons to appear before the joint investigation team that has to submit its report in 60 days. The case relates to alleged money laundering by Sharif in 1990s when he twice served as Prime Minister to purchase assets in London. The verdict brings temporary relief to Nawaz Sharif as he will not be disqualified as the Prime Minister. China successfully launched its first cargo spacecraft on Thursday, taking another step towards its goal of establishing a permanently manned space station by 2022. The Tianzhou 1 cargo resupply spacecraft was lifted off on a Long March 7 Y2 rocket from the Wenchang Space Launch Center. In space, the cargo ship will dock with the orbiting Tiangong 2 Space Lab, provide fuel and other supplies, and conduct space experiments before returning. The spacecraft can carry 6 tons of goods, 2 tons of fuel, and can fly unmanned for 3 months. It is the first cargo ship independently developed by China. Meanwhile, police in Venezuela have fired tear gas during the second day of violent protests in the capital, Caracas. 3 people were killed on Wednesday when opponents of President Nicolas Maduro took to the streets. The huge protests in Caracas and western Venezuela come amid a serious economic crisis in the country. Opposition leaders have accused Maduro of ruling the country like a dictator. The president says opponents are trying to topple him by force. Venezuela's opposition leader earlier this week called on a public to take part in the anti-government protest across the country to press their demands for early presidential elections and the release of the jailed politicians.
Autorizado que se meta una demanda, una querella por el honor de la gente que ha sido acusada y que este señor que acusó de esa.
We're concerned at the latest developments in Venezuela and urge that all efforts be made to lower tensions and prevent further clashes. We call on the government of Venezuela and the opposition to engage sincerely to reactivate dialogue efforts, especially around the critical issues that they had already agreed to and to place on the agenda, namely the balance of power among the branches of the state, the electoral calendar, human rights, truth, justice, and the socioeconomic situation. We call on concrete measures from all parties to reduce polarization and create the necessary conditions to address the country's challenges for the benefit of the Venezuelan people.
Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of Breakfast News. See you again tomorrow, same time. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha television.